Mr. Collin, are you ready? Mr. Collin?
I am ready to go when you are, Council President.
All righty. This meeting is being called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975, Chapter 231. This agenda is complete to the extent known and was sent to the Trenton Times and the Trentonian newspapers, posted on the first floor bulletin board in the City Hall, and filed in the City Clerk's office, and filed on the City of Trenton's website. Formal action will be taken. Roll call, clerk.
Yes, Council President, thank you. I'll call the roll. Mr. Blakely. Mr. Blakely, sir. Come back to Mr. Blakely. Ms. Caldwell-Wilson.
Present.
Mr. Harrison. Councilmember Harrison. Come back to Mr. Harrison. Mr. Michelle.
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Present.
Ms. Vaughn. Council President McBride.
Present.
We'll call Mr. Blakely. Mr. Harrison. Ms. Vaughn. I'd also like to note for the record the attendance of the Honorable Reed Sciorra, the Mayor. Mr. Cruz.
Present.
Just for the record, also, a quorum has been formed, Council President. There are four. Mr. Cherry.
Present.
Mr. Manali. Who is here from the Law Department?
Rashawn Williams is here from the Law Department, and Julie Murray as well.
Thank you very much. Director Coley.
Present.
Acting Director Mazer.
Present.
Director Delisle.
Present.
Mr. Cruz is present as the Acting Director for the Department of Health and Human Services. Director Onatieri.
Present.
Director Richardson.
Present.
Acting Director Lavenberg.
Present.
And Ms. Schoener.
Present.
Council President, we have a quorum. All are present and accounted for. I will now also ask once again Mr. Blakely. Mr. Harrison.
Councilman Harrison.
Mr. Harrison, I'll mark you as arrived at 5:33. And Ms. Vaughn. Okay, Council President, we have 5 members present.
I'm not seeing you on camera. Is there a reason?
No. Let me just turn my camera on and flip my button up. And you can see me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. We will now go to the invocation. If you'd like me to proceed, Council President.
Yes.
We all bow our heads. Almighty God, who holds the fate of man and nation, we most humbly beseech thee to bless this our city, these deliberations, and these thy servants, that they may act with wisdom and understanding for the good of our community and thy greater glory. We also pray for alleviation from the COVID-19 epidemic and the increased numbers, and that you keep Trentonians and non-Trentonians as well safe. We pray for this. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. If we could all rise for a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
of the
States
United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
and
one nation,
under
under God, indivisible,
liberty
with liberty
with liberty
justice.
and justice
for all.
Thank you, everybody. And next on the agenda, we have the Honorable Reed Gusiora for the advice and consent of the council for the appointment of Mark A. Lavenberg, as Director of Water and Sewer.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Madam President, is it okay to read my statement?
Yes, definitely, ma'am.
Thanks. Thank you. Members of Council, Trenton Waterworks has made tremendous strides in these last 2 years as to how we deliver water and service our customers, rate payers. And long are the days when we had frequent water quality violations, and moreover, we're on the way of meeting the expectations of DEP and satisfying our administrative consent order. And we've got the people in place to make sure that the T remains in Trenton Waterworks. For DEP, continuity is important more than ever, and Mark Lavenberg brings the expertise and the stability to the department. I'm especially proud to say that we've hired over 100 new employees to fill positions that were formerly held by personnel contractors, and that 90% of those are Trenton residents. There is no need for contractors to ever fill these positions again. And in that vein, we did a region-wide search, and we found Mark Lavenberg, who has over 30 years of experience in the water utility business, and 20 of those have been in water utility management. He is a licensed operator for record on the Trenton Waterworks. He has a T4, W4, and S4 licenses. Mark was the water utility director for New Brunswick, and he's the acting director of operations in Newark. I cannot think of a more qualified person to head the department on behalf of Trenton residents. But since Mark has been at the helm, he has partnered with Mercer County College and initiated wastewater in-house classes for the first time so that Trenton Waterworks employees will be eligible to apply for advancement and for licenses. And so far, 10 Trentonians who work at Trenton Waterworks have enrolled in these classes. And with Daisha Brooks at Trenton Waterworks, Mark wants to create a Trenton Public Schools water liaison, and this will be after COVID, so that STEM students at our high school can be exposed to water science projects, internships, and opportunities in the department. Imagine future engineering students will have exposure to in-house environment science and engineering projects. Mark is a two-time EPA Excellent Award D for water service. He has hired additional filtration operators from Trenton and working to replace the Trenton Waterworks fleet. He created a list of the top 10 delinquent water accounts for collection, and in fact, a neighboring municipality entity is now settling a $350,000 outstanding water bill. Mark has recognized that the Trenton Waterworks collection rates were down and caught up on 10 outstanding billable cycles so that customers will have continuity and certainty in their future water bills. Mark will be implementing the forensic audit as requested by council and will be scheduling audit sessions with council. And finally, so far we've completed 2,300 lead service lines, and Mark has budgeted for 4,500 in the next year. So based on that, I think that Mr. Lavenberg would make an excellent director for the waterworks, and I hope that you will give the advice and consent. I'd also urge you to consult with your counsel, Ed DeHope, since he is in the water business, and he would be able to comment further about Mark's qualifications and working in the industry. But thank you very much for your consideration, and I now present you Mark Lavenberg for Director of Trenton Waterworks.
Good evening, Mr. Lavenberg.
Good evening, Council President.
Would you like to say anything?
I would just really like to appreciate Mayor Gasoria's appointment to this position and the cooperation that I've received from the council over these last 90 days. I think the approval of the $50 million bond ordinance was a major milestone for the city of Trenton to ensure its future, going forward. And I can't overemphasize my appreciation for council's approval of that bond. If so appointed, I look forward to working with the council and with the administration to advance the future of Trenton Waterworks for the citizens of Trenton. And again, I just really appreciate the time I spent working with you people. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lavenberg.
Thank you, Council President.
Mr. Conlon, I just wanted to let you know that I'm on the call. This is Councilman Blakely.
Acknowledge Mr. Blakely. I'll mark you as present. Thank you, sir.
Did any council member have anything to say to Mr. Lavenberg?
I do. This is Councilman Blakely, Council President.
Go right ahead, Councilman Blakely.
I just wanted to say, Mr. Lavenberg, that I am excited to vote on your nomination this afternoon or this evening. I find your background to be impressive, and I look forward to the partnerships that you will develop if you win confirmation this evening. I'm particularly excited about the liaison position with the Trenton Public Schools, and I just hope that you have the opportunity to move this waterworks in a positive direction. Thank you.
Much appreciated, Councilman.
Is there anyone else that would like to say anything? Council members?
Council President.
Go right ahead. Mr. Harrison, Councilman Harrison.
Mr. Lavenberg, I've seen your work in action, and I know you're well respected. You've worked hard with the city council, and you definitely will get my approval. You please can add my name to that forensic audit too. I said, but I know you've been getting the job done, and I appreciate your hard work.
Thank you, Councilman, and I do appreciate that, and I appreciate what the mayor has said about me. But truth be told, it's not really so much about me. It's about the men and women that make up Trenton Waterworks, and any accomplishments that may have been listed there were certainly done, by those men and women that get that work. And it's a pleasure for me to, as I say, I work for them as opposed to them working for me. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, go right ahead, Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes, Mr. Lavenberg. Over the past several weeks, I've been receiving anonymous texts with all kinds of accusations against you. But I personally feel that all the questions that were asked of you at the last meeting, that you answered all of them. And, I can't base my decision on anonymous emails of people who won't come forward with written proof. So I know that you have worked very hard and you're trying very hard to work with council. So I just want you to know that I appreciate that. Thank you.
Much appreciated, Council Vice President.
All righty. If no one else has anything to say, we'll move right on. Mr. Collins, could you continue, please?
You're muted, Mr.
Yes,
Conley.
ma'am. I am coming. Here we go. Next we have, on the agenda, we have the minutes, September 3rd, 2020, regular meeting
Are
minutes.
we not going to?
Are we going to vote on this?
It was scheduled on the agenda to be voted as a roll call vote. If you want to vote on it now, Council President, we certainly can do that.
Yes, that will be
Hi,
fine.
it's Robin Vaughn, Councilwoman West Ward just joined.
Did you want to give Councilmember Vaughn time to speak at all, Council President?
Yes, if she would, if she want the opportunity.
Yes, can someone catch me up, please? Because I'm sorry I'm late, Council President.
Yes, we have the mayor just introduced his advice and consent candidate, Mr. Mark Lavingberg. And if you would like,
I would like to speak. And I have a question. Is Mr. Lavenberg on the line?
Yes, he is.
Clerk Collin, is it okay that I ask a question?
That is up to the Council President. I believe she has given you the floor.
Okay. Mr. Lavenberg, I just wanted to ask you a question about your previous association with Wade Trim and Operation Services, Inc.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Is it, do you have any ownership or equity stake in Operation Services?
No, I do not. And I don't even know if they have equity stakes or stocks, anything associated with that. For the record, I worked for a company called Operation Services, which had employed Chris Johnson, who worked for Wade Trim. And he did that startup company, but I've never received any compensation from the company Wade Trim. All my compensation came from Operation Services, and I would be happy to show you any tax records associated with that.
Okay, so Operation Services, Chris Johnson, I remember Chris because actually, if I recall, it was you and Chris last year, 2019, came into council and gave us a presentation, right?
That is correct, Councilwoman. He asked me to assist him with that presentation.
Yes. I remember when you did come in and you with Chris Johnson. And currently, Chris Johnson is not only CEO of Wade Trim, but he's also the president of Operation Services, correct?
I don't know what his association is with Wade Trim, but I do know he started.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I am not aware of Mr. Johnson's relationship with Wade Trim.
No, I didn't say Wade Trim. I asked whether or not who is the president of Operation Services?
I don't know his title, but I assume it's Chris Johnson.
Oh, so you don't know? Okay.
I don't know, but I do know that I believe the Trentonian research into the business registration, new business registration.
I don't read the Trentonian. I just know that I looked up on Bloomberg, and my understanding, Operation Services is not a public company, correct? It's not a publicly traded company, correct?
Again, Councilwoman, I don't know that. I don't know that. I work for them, and
but Chris Johnson. So Chris Johnson is the president of Operation Services, and that is a spinoff of Wade Trim, correct?
Again, I can't speak to that. I understand that Wade Trim was a successful bidder back in 2018. And then Mr. Johnson formed a company and formed a business registration here in the state of New Jersey to continue on with that contract. But you would have to ask Mr. Johnson those questions.
Okay, okay, but you were here last week.
I can only answer what I know.
Okay, all right. So you don't know anything about Operation Services or Wade Trim?
The only my association with them started in January of 2019 and continued, no, January, yeah.
If I showed you a articles of corporation of operation services and it shows who the equity stakeholders are, your name wouldn't be there, right?
No.
Okay. All right, Council President, I have no more questions.
All righty. So, Mr. Conlon,
Yes, Council President.
we can move forward with the vote.
Yes, ma'am. We have Resolution 20-651, a resolution consenting to the appointment of Mark A. Lavenberg as Director of the Department of Water and Sewer for the City of Trenton. Do I have an introduction?
So moved.
Second.
I have an introduction by Mr. Harrison, a second by Mr. Blakely. Council President, would you like me to move to the vote?
Yes, go right ahead.
I'll now call the roll. Mr. Blakely.
Yes.
Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes.
Councilmember Harrison.
Yes.
Councilmember Michelle.
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
No.
Councilmember Vaughn.
No.
Council President McBride.
No.
The ayes have it 4-3. The advice and consent to council is satisfied. Mr. Lavenberg is appointed as director.
It's shaking me up.
Congratulations, Mr. Lavenberg.
Thank you all. Thank you all for your vote of confidence, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President, would you like me to proceed?
Yes, please.
Next, we have the approval of the September 3rd, 2020 regular meeting minutes. I sent these out to council on Tuesday. Did anybody have any comments on the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
I have a motion by Council President Caldwell-Wilson. I have a second by Mr. Harrison. All in favor to approve the September 3rd, 2020 minutes?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? September 3rd, 2020 minutes are approved. Next, we have communications and petitions from the clerk's office. There were 31 communications and petitions as detailed on the docket. Does anybody have any comments or questions with regard to any of the communications and petitions? Would anybody like any of them pulled out and specially sent to you? Okay, finally, I'm going to have the communications, petitions, and reports. We have a report of the clerk's office for submitting for the approval of the monthly revenue report for the month of October 2020 of funds collected by the office for $12,716.10. Do I have a motion to approve the communication petitions and reports? I have a motion by Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Harrison. All in favor of approving the communication petitions and reports of the clerk's office?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. The communications and petitions are approved. Next, we have ordinances. Second reading, public hearing on ordinances. There are none for tonight. Now move on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda for approval. First, we have resolutions 20-667, which is an alcohol plenary retail consumption license for Chestnut Corners. I just want to point that out specifically. Next, we have resolution 20-669, resolution 20-672, and 20-673. Did any council member want to remove anything from the consent agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion by Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Harrison. I will now call the roll. Mr. Blakely.
Yes.
Ms. Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. Michelle.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
Sorry, what is this one for?
This is to approve the consent agenda, ma'am. And if you want, I can read you the resolutions are 669, 672, 673.
No. I'm fine. Yes.
And 667. Council President McBride.
Yes.
So ordered. The consent agenda is approved. Now we'll move on to the roll call resolutions. First, for roll call, we have Resolution 20-651, a resolution consenting the appointment. Oh, I'm sorry, we already did that. Congratulations again, Mr. Lavenberg. Next, we have Resolution 20-668, a resolution closing municipal buildings on certain holidays observed by the City of Trenton in 2021.
Mr. Conlon,
Yes, ma'am.
this is the place where we speak to the information that Mr. Williams was going to research about the holidays being added on for the Juneteenth and the Columbus Day holiday being a federal holiday. This is where we talk about that the information that he was going to forward us. Did he
Yes,
submit
ma'am.
it?
That is correct. Before the vote is called for, yes, that would be the correct time.
All righty.
The floor is open. Council President, does anybody seek the recognition of the Council President to discuss this matter?
I'm sorry, which matter?
This is for the resolution closing municipal buildings on certain holidays observed by the City of Trenton in 2021. Mr. Williams had circulated a memorandum shortly before the council meeting had begun, indicating that you can actually change this to Juneteenth, and I don't want to steal his thunder. So
Well, where is he? Why isn't he speaking?
That's why I'm just pointing out to the memorandum. So, Council President, did you want Mr. Williams to speak on that?
Definitely, because I didn't get it in time enough to even review it. So if he sent it out, I would like for him to expound on it. That would be great.
Mr. Williams, sir.
Can he get on?
I
can hear you now, Mr. Williams. Go ahead, sir, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Council President. As the clerk recognized, I provided a review by the law director shortly before the meeting started, and essentially is that pursuant to the the Fair Labor Standards Act, federal law, essentially that the city can recognize Juneteenth Day as opposed to the Columbus holiday. Essentially, the Fair Labor Standards Act does not require for payment for time not worked, such as vacations, holidays, federal, state, or otherwise. Essentially, the federal holidays, days off, paid days off, are as a result of an agreement between an employer and an employee, such as the union. The state of New Jersey has also designated several state holidays. However, no New Jersey state statute specifies that you have to grant public employees paid leave off. And as such, the governor on September 10th, 2020, signed into recognition that Juneteenth is a state holiday. It's a public holiday, and it'll be recognized on the third Friday in June. Specifically, it states that Juneteenth commemorates on June 19th when the word of freedom finally reached the enslaved people in Texas, and the jubilant celebrations evolved into a general celebration of freedom. Also, Juneteenth is also a reminder for all Americans of the hardships that Black Americans have endured for centuries in this country, and an example of Black Americans often being the last to benefit from any change. I'm just reading from the Senate Bill 20, Senate Bill Text 2021. I'm reading specifically from the bill. Moreover, the as I'm sure Council President is aware, the collective bargaining agreement between the city and AFSCME Local 2286 says that the city employees shall receive 13 paid holidays to be observed by council resolution. This resolution is now set forth before council with those days, which include Juneteenth being recognized as a city holiday. So it would be legal, and there'll be no impediments to that should council choose to approve it.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Did anyone have any questions for Mr. Williams?
Yes, I do.
Go right
Mr.
ahead.
Williams, this is Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson. For Indigenous Peoples Day, so if we decided to designate that holiday, would that have to be a separate resolution to add to the holidays?
It would have to be either a separate resolution or yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So, very quickly, Council President, may I speak?
Yes, go right ahead.
So, Santiago, Councilman Rodriguez, are you raising a resolution to declare the second Monday in October Indigenous Peoples Holiday?
Yes, but a non-paid holiday. It's to replace Columbus Day. Instead of Columbus Day, the 12th will be called Indigenous Peoples Day. But it's not going to be an official paid holiday. That will have to be there by the union in the contract. If they win that day, then that will be it.
Well, what does Ask Me has to do with a federal holiday? Isn't Indigenous People holiday?
Indigenous Peoples is a holiday in almost all the states, but it's not a paid holiday. It's a holiday in Princeton, but it's not a paid holiday.
Okay, well, I would like to follow
That's what I am going, my resolution is going to be for it to, instead of Columbus Day, to be called Indigenous Peoples Day.
Okay. But if people were to take off, if things are closed, why wouldn't it be a paid holiday?
But why do they have to take off? They already switched. They already agreed with the mayor to switch the Columbus Day to take the June Day. Now it's officially holiday, so it's better now. It doesn't have to be through an ordinance or a resolution. That was already agreed last year when the mayor declared in the executive order that June 10th was going to be celebrated. I remember it was doing them in the city council.
Wait a minute.
In order for it to be a paid holiday, we had to add it, and we could do that, a resolution to add that, but that's not my intent. It's not to give the workers an extra day. That would be a 14th day, and according to the email I got from Mr. Williams, it said if we want to add a 14th holiday in the city, then that will be a separate resolution to add it, or ordinance, whatever it is, that is separate from changing Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. That's to add another holiday, and that's not my intent.
Mr. Williams, what's permissible under the law? Can we add it as a holiday for a day off and paid?
The extra day would have to be subject to the agreement between the union and the city, and then subject to city council approval. So in other words, if the union and the city agreed that the city workers would get a 14th day off, that can certainly be subject to negotiation. It have to be agreed to by the union, the city, and the collective bargaining agreement. But should they agree to that, it can be, ratified by city council. And it's just
okay. So in the event that if Indigenous people, I believe that is a national holiday, correct?
No, that's not what I understand. And
I believe it is a national holiday now.
Point of information,
if it's a national holiday.
Indigenous Peoples Day is adopted by cities in 14 states, but it is not a federal holiday.
Okay. All right. Very well. Thank you for that clarity, Mr. Cullen.
And Councilman Rodriguez is just doing extending a name change for the date for indigenous people, basically as a courtesy to the indigenous people, but not trying to move forward to remove Columbus Day. He's just changing.
Oh, no, I want to remove. I want to remove Columbus Day and switch it to Indigenous Peoples Day, the same as 14 states that have done, same as Princeton did. That's to change it. That's what I'm intending to, not to leave Columbus, get Columbus out completely. But that we could discuss when it comes. It's still in the process of development.
All righty. Thank you. And thanks again, Mr. Williams. We can move to the vote, Mr. Conlon.
Yes, Council President. Do I have a motion to introduce 20-668, a resolution closing municipal buildings on certain holidays observed by the City of Trenton in 2021?
So moved.
I have a motion by Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Harrison. And I'll call the roll. Mr. Blakely.
Yes.
Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. Michelle.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Council President McBride.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution 20-670, a resolution to provide emergency appropriations to the state fiscal year 2021 temporary budgets of the City of Trenton Current Fund for grant appropriations in the amount of $2,788,657.43. Floor is open. Anybody wish to be recognized by the Council President?
Hearing no comments.
Do I have a motion to introduce? Do I have a motion to introduce Resolution 20-670?
So moved.
I have a motion by Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Harrison. I'll now call the roll. Mr. Blakely.
Yes.
Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. Michelle.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
I'm sorry. I've lost my place. What's 670 again?
Resolution 20-670, a resolution to provide emergency appropriations to the state fiscal year 2021 temporary budget to the City of Trenton Current Fund for grant appropriations.
Oh, yes.
Council President McBride.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution 20-671, a resolution authorizing the public auction of certain city-owned properties pursuant to NJSA 40-12-13A of the local lands and building law. Anybody wish to be recognized by council? Have any questions? Just also to note for the record, an updated list of the properties with the minimum bids was sent out by Director Delisle earlier this afternoon, which I did forward to council at that point in time. It also did add one property and remove one property from the list that the appendix attached to the resolution.
Could you tell me what property that was?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Bear with me for 1 second. 617 West State Street was added and 632 Stuyvesant Avenue was removed. Once again, it also added the minimum starting bids for the auction. Do I have a motion to introduce?
A question before you introduce.
Yes,
with the minimum bid, the amount being changed, it doesn't have to reflect that in this resolution here?
I don't believe they were changed. I just believe that they were added to the addendum. But Mr. Delisle would be able to confirm that. That was the information that I received, but I'm sure Mr. Delisle would be happy to confirm that for you.
Yes,
Council President, if I could,
Yes.
this is Director Delisle. They were inadvertently left off the original attachment that was sent to you off the table, so we made sure it was added and included with the submission today. I'm sorry I didn't send it earlier yesterday, being the holiday. It didn't get done or sent over. But and just for your information, the minimum bid was established by looking at 10% of the assessed value of the properties.
Alrighty. And that portion of it is in the resolution, right?
Yes, it's in the attachment A, which lists all the properties by lot, block, address, type, which properties are restricted for home ownership for 5 years for the bidding, and then also the minimum price, minimum starting bid, rather.
I don't see that. Well, I don't have the update. So, alrighty. I don't have the updated information. So, okay, thank you, Director. Because I have the block, the lot, the number, the street, the zoning, if it's redevelopment or historic, and then the structure, it just says residential or lots. And I don't have whether or not what the percentage of the actual bid starts at for the property.
I can re-forward it again, Council President. I forwarded that at 10:51 a.m., so it did come out late, relative to the meeting, so I apologize for that. But that is, I forwarded today at 10:51 a.m.
Alrighty.
Madam President, the only ones that are historical are 7 properties in total of the entire list.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Director Delisle and Business Administrator Cruz. Thanks. All right, we may continue with the vote.
Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Harrison. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Rodriguez. I'll now call the roll. Mr. Blakely.
Yes.
Council Vice President Caldwell Wilson. Council Vice President, she may have left. She said she was not feeling well. Let me just check. She is still here. Council Vice President, are you still there? Can you hear me? I'll come back to her. Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. Michelle.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Council Vice President, are you there? She has actually left, so I don't think she's feeling well. Council Marker is absent. Council President McBride.
Yes, I'm going to abstain for just a lack of information on that.
The vote will pass a 5-0 with 1 abstention, 1 absence. Next, we have Resolution 20-670. I'm sorry. We are done with the resolutions. We're going to move on to the introduction and first reading of Ordinance 20-54, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 10 alcohol beverages of the Code of the City of Trenton to require the installation of security cameras by establishments which hold alcohol beverage control licenses. This will set the public hearing for, I believe, November 24th, 2020. Do I have a motion to introduce? This is ordinance 20-54, an ordinance amending Chapter 10 alcohol beverages of the Code of the City of Trenton to require the installation of security cameras by establishments which hold alcohol beverage control licenses.
Me.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, sir. Did you speak?
Did the public get to speak yet on this or no?
They'll be able to speak at the public hearing on November 24th. This is just for the introduction, sir.
Can I ask you a question, Council President?
Yes, go right ahead.
Is
Should it be
is Director?
No, Council President, you could proceed.
No,
Absolutely, please.
Is Director Cooley on? Is Director Cooley on?
She was here earlier, sir. Director Coley?
Yes, I'm here. I could not mute myself. Go ahead.
My question is, it says about the cameras for 60 days. Could that be modified to 30 or is 60 days or where is the 60 days coming from? That's really my question. Why was 60 days chosen as a date? That's my question. Thank you.
I believe we mirrored the language that was in the ABC, the state ABC directive. I can double check on that. However, from my experience, the cameras would definitely have to be installed before renewal of for the 2020-2021 season, which is June of next year. So they would definitely have to be installed by then. But we could certainly work with the merchants that are having difficulties meeting the deadline.
Right, because the concern I was brought to is the 30 days. I think a lot of the owners were saying 30 days, but 60 days. That's why I was just wondering where 60 days came from, that time frame.
Yes, I believe that we mirrored the language that was already in the state directive. I can double check that to make sure that I'm not misspeaking.
Thank you, because I know the community is and the business owners and everybody want to work together. So thank you.
Absolutely. I will definitely double check that, and if it needs to be amended at a later date, I will definitely do that as well to get everyone an opportunity to come into complaint.
Much appreciated.
So, Director Coley, since you're here, I just wanted to know about a lot of the residents, the owners, the bar owners and the liquor store owners had never heard about this ordinance before Tuesday, and we had discussed that it would go out to them. But I also wanted to know about the because of the COVID and the bars, not so much the liquor stores, but the bars are really are struggling financially, and the cameras, will that be coming directly out of their pocket? Will there be some type of offset or some type of funding to assist them with the cameras? Because the cameras is not just for their benefit, but it's for the entire community's benefit. So is there anything to help them offset the price of the cameras?
No, ma'am, not at this time. I have not been made aware of any state grant that would help offset that cost. Again, this is a state mandate, but I can have Detective Franisovich work with all of the business owners who indicate that they will have an issue or some type of financial difficulty completing it by the deadline. And we can certainly have him contact State ABC as well to see if they intend to partially fund this initiative.
All righty. Thank you.
Council President, may I say something about that? Council President?
Yes, go right ahead, Councilwoman Vaughn.
Well, as far as a cost of installing cameras in their franchise, I would think, just my little bit of knowledge about business and ownership of a business, they should be able to capitalize that. That should be an asset to their business. It should decrease their insurance on their business. That they are investing in security cameras. It's like if you add cameras to your house or a security system to your home, you get a tax benefit. You can get a discount in your insurance. So this can be a plus for all the businesses, and also not to mention, they probably can write it off on their income tax for a tax deduction. So I would find it odd that they're complaining about the cost. Maybe a little cost on the front end, but the savings and the benefit on the back end, tangible or intangible, are real. So I think any business who would complain about adding a security system or camera to their business is being disingenuous, because it definitely is an asset to any business or residents to have a security system on their home. Thank you.
You're welcome. You may continue.
Council President?
Yes.
I just want to make sure, am I correct that it's 60 days recording, right? Is that correct, Director Coley? Am I a minimum?
Yes, that's to maintain the recording. I think where that probably came from, and I'm not speaking in absolute, but some of the businesses, when we go to retrieve footage, even if we go within 24, 48 hours, we're told that after 10 hours is no longer available. So now there's a state mandate as to how long you must maintain it.
Right. That's why I was saying 30 days, because I was thinking, like you said, if they were having that problem, we made it 30 days. That might be another option too. But that's my take too. All right. Thank you.
You may continue, Mr. Conley.
Do I have a motion to introduce ordinance 20-54?
So moved.
I have an introduction by Mr. Harrison. Do I have a second?
So moved.
I have a second by Council President McBride. I'll now call the roll. Mr. Blakely. This is at the public hearing on November 24th. Mr. Blakely.
Yes.
Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson. Is absent. My apologies. Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. Michelle.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Council President McBride.
Yes.
So ordered. Public hearing set for November 24th. Council President, we are done with the resolutions and ordinances. I didn't know if you wanted to do public comment before executive session, or if you wanted to adjourn to executive session and then do public.
Oh, no, I would like to do the public comment first.
Yes, ma'am.
Give the public an opportunity to speak.
Yes, ma'am. Would any members of the public wish to be recognized for public comment this evening? Please raise your hand, and I will seek recognition for you from the Council President. Once again, any members of the public wishing to be recognized?
Yes, how you doing? My name's Amin Aria.
Hold on one second, Mr. Aria. Council President, do you wish to recognize Mr. Amin Aria?
Yes, please. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Aria, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Amin Aria of 105 East Hanover Street.
Yes. Please proceed, sir.
I'm the Vice President Latino Merchant. We have a little concern about the the order 20-54. One of the concern we have is just a 60-day recorder. A lot of business don't have the ability to have a 60-day recorder. And the other thing is we have also a lot of concern is the fine, because a lot of business have a lot of issue with COVID right now, and they're going to be closed because they not have the money to succeed. So why they want to give a $500 fine to $1,000 while we offer this administration, the past 3 administrations, to work together and give all the system in the city wide to work with the crime, and now they change it to ordering and basically feel like attacking the business because they want to give a fine. On top of that, also have some issue to revoke the license, something like that. I think I read it. And I spoke to the city clerk, and they were saying like they come from the state, and the state is not mandatory to have a video camera. What we do, 95% of the business have a camera right now. and whole citywide. So that's my concern. Thank you, City Council President, and everybody who listened to us. See the concern we have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President Sonia McCray Richards wishes to be recognized.
Yes, go right ahead.
Ms. McCray Richards, you please proceed.
Yes, I have a question. Question is to the clerk or to council president. With the resolution that you're going to executive session for, if there's a vote upon this resolution, will the public have a moment to comment upon the resolution that's being voted upon, if there's a vote upon a resolution from the executive session?
No, the public doesn't get that opportunity.
And why so? If we get the opportunity to vote, to have a comment upon all resolutions that are voted upon.
If you stay on when we come out, yes. I mean, I don't really know. You have to ask Mr. Williams, the person.
I think the city clerk should be able to answer such a question.
Well, we're moving public comment up to, normally the resolution would be heard before public comment, and you'd be able to comment on the resolution during public comment. Anything that occurs with regard to that resolution is going to be kept privileged and confidential anyway, because it's an executive session. So any comments that you have, you can certainly make now. You're not going to get any information out of that meeting otherwise to comment on. So I don't see what's preventing you from making a comment on now if you have the resolution in front of you. But if Council President wants to open the floor to public comment specifically for that resolution afterwards, that's certainly her prerogative.
Okay, again, my question is, if the resolution is voted upon, will the public have the right to comment on this resolution that is voted upon?
You have that right now.
It's not voted upon, so that I don't have a comment.
So the Council President has indicated that after the resolution and after the executive session, she will open up public comment and allow you to comment at that time.
Okay, so there will be. Okay, that's my question.
That is what she indicated. Council President, am I misspeaking?
Yes, I said the floor will be open. We have two public comments on Thursday.
Okay.
Two sessions for public comment.
Anybody else wish to be recognized for public comment?
I would like to be recognized.
Who is speaking?
Yes, my name is Jonathan Gore.
There was somebody before you, Mr. Gore.
Yes, I'm representing Riot Associates.
Mr. Gore, please. There was someone before you. So the other person before Mr. Gore, please state your name.
My name is Jose Rodriguez. I am from 231.
Hold on one second.
Tara Miller.
Council President, do you wish to recognize Mr. Jose Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, can you state your name and address for the record?
231 Garfield, Trenton, New Jersey. Jose Rodriguez. I am a volunteer IT tech for Latino Merchants Association. For more than 3 years, we implemented an idea that the police department and the merchants will share video footage, through a cloud-based format. Right now, we've been working diligently with my volunteers coding a server, a cloud-based server to meet to meet that goal that we had. Now, for the last the administration, we implemented the ideas, and we were told that we didn't have the manpower to make it happen. My question is now, come to realize a few weeks ago, it was all over social media that the Department of Trenton, New Jersey, the police department, has a whole bunch of cameras collecting dust in a warehouse. And if it is very important for our safety to provide video to everybody, for the police department to do their work, why are those cameras not installed? This is our taxpayers' money, and it is already paid in full. Why are not they installed? And trust me, I am a T-Tech guy, and with the little resources that we have, we have made a lot of accomplishment with our prototypes. So these are questions that I would love to have an answer. And for the 60 minutes of video footage, you know that a lot of these businesses don't have that capability with the DVRs. And they're going to need an extreme upgrade. So therefore, with this prototype that we're going to be pushing forward, we'll be able to make it happen. And we will have at least the minimum of 30 days, like the other gentleman said, of video footage that we'll be more than happy to share with the police department on the, through a cloud-based format. I just wanted to share that point with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Council President, we had a Mr. Gore, I believe it was. Mr. Gore, sir?
He's probably muted. You have to give him the opportunity to try to get back in.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, Karen Dickerson.
My name is Jonathan Gore. I'm a representative of...
Please state your name and address for the record.
Me and my brother, James Jones. Pie representing Ride Associates.
And what's your address, sir?
We're in the Wilbur Section District. Yeah, Wilbur Section District.
Thank you, sir. Council President, do you wish to recognize Mr. Gore and Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Gentlemen, please proceed.
Well, there you go. We can start off. Well, we just here that today. This is our first time, getting on the conference with y'all. But I just wanted to introduce y'all and let y'all know what we was doing in our community out here in the Wilbur Section area. First and foremost, they call me Uncle Pie. That's my name. I'm from out the Wilbur Section area where we had started the cleanup crew, represented by partners with the African American Chambers of Commerce, Mr. John Harmon. Also with the councilman, Mr. Harrison. What we're doing, we're trying to bring employment to our community. So this is what we develop, a program out here where we're cleaning up our own neighborhood throughout the whole Wilbur section. For the last 2 weeks, we've been out there faithfully, with my whole team. It's about 25 of us, which if the right funding come to us, we can hire maybe more, because this program here can be in every part of Trenton, New Jersey. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to come out to see it for yourself, to see what I'm talking about, to understand where we're going at with the situation, because you can be able to interact with the people that's a part of the program, you know what I mean, trying to do. So that's one of the reasons why I got online with y'all, so I can let y'all know what's going on out in the Wilbur section. I don't know if y'all are aware of it or not. I had the mayor had came out, the councilman came out, Mr. Harmon, they came out, and all the participants came out, plus we got it recorded, you know what I mean? So, we're trying to do what we need to do, but we need more people to be active in this so we can get the program up and running like it's supposed to, like a systematic system that we need to put this program forward. To get the people back to work. Yeah, the people back to work, because it's employment. And also, we employ the 10 and unders and everything like that. So we have kids, and we are a pop-up shop. We do have our own clothing line. We're a pop-up shop. We maintenance a lot on Chambers and Tioga, the old McCray Brothers laundromat and everything. So they tore that down. So we out there every weekend, and it's like we got the actual youth that been out there all pandemic with us. They was out there all pandemic, and what they do, they come out there, they clean up the lot. We give them bags, gloves, we got hand sanitizer, and everything. We give them masks. They go ahead and do their little cleanup around that area and everything, and they get paid for it. So, and also these kids asking questions about entrepreneurship. And the thing is, there's no programs or nothing like that in the area, because everything got taken away. And once everything gets taken away, and the kids don't go to school, and
And right now, there's really no school because of the pandemic. So right now, they're just roaming around with nothing to do, and that's why you got so much violence and stuff, because they don't have anything to do. So what we trying to do is just bring the jobs back. If we got to rebuild our community, we got the manpower to basically go ahead and do it ourselves, because we know carpenter tools and everything like that. But these people don't have no work because there's no opportunities out here. And then they released all these inmates from out of jail, and I'm asking myself, for what? Because you're releasing them out here to no opportunity, and then if it's no opportunity, what you already know what they're going to resort back to. So we can put a change to that, and if we can get the funding to really go on with the program to generate jobs and bring the people in, and people do really want to work. And I want to bring the programs in, like entrepreneur programs, for these little kids that's asking questions, because they're going to be our future. So we got to install it in them, and we can, establish a system to really do that, because we know people that are entrepreneurs and anything somebody want to know. You know what I mean? It's like pick and choose. And then I'm just saying. Also, if you look at it like this, you have to come out there physically and see what's been going on for the last 2 weeks. And you have to look at in the faces of these people. Interact with these people, you're going to see it, because it's priceless when you see someone and you got hope. You're giving them hope. You know what I mean? Right now, through the pandemic, there's no hope. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks it's going to go back normal. It's never going back normal. So right now, education has changed. So everybody's looking for the education. And right now, there's no education. Everybody is puzzled behind the different ways of this pandemic is causing us to move, having masks and all these type of things. But then when you look at the kids, who's going to be the one that's going to be able to teach these kids? But in order for you to understand what we're talking about, you have to physically come out there. And I offer y'all to come out. The Councilman Harrison, he's always out there. Mr. Harmony came out there. The mayor, he came out there. We're offering all the councils from all the districts from out here to come out. So then that way, when you see this, I won't have to speak about it. You will speak about it. You would never have to speak. I would never ever have to speak about it to anyone. Y'all would do it because you're there interacting with them, and they're going to tell you themselves, because everyone has their own voice. You know what I mean? Everybody. It seems like the higher authorities of the city of Trenton, New Jersey, had left us for dead. You know what I mean? Once the pandemic came, now everybody wants to say, okay, let's come back down here and see what's going on. No, this should have been happening all along. But we offer y'all to come out. Just like I come into your meeting and y'all welcome me to the meeting to speak my mind, I'm offering y'all to pick a day to come out. You're going to come out here, myself, I will walk you through the whole water section, and you would meet and greet who you want. When you're good, you don't have to worry about nothing. I'm guaranteeing all this. But we just need you to come out so the people can understand that, so they can be safe to speak to y'all. Right now, you can't even get many of the higher authorities in Trenton, New Jersey to come out, any part of Trenton, New Jersey, and try to talk to anybody, especially if it's a tragedy, like the young lady that had. I don't mean to take over a little bit, but I'm just going to offer y'all to come out, and we can take it from there. But we represent Rye and Associates. It means build intelligent one to teach. We've been around Trenton, New Jersey since 1992. Other than that, I offer y'all to come on out and see what we're doing and what we're trying to put together. I believe it's a good setup. To come and see it for yourself. Maybe we can help each other. Y'all can help us, give us the advice, guide us the way that we need to go, so we can make it possible that this can happen. I appreciate the floor.
Council President, we next have Ms. Karen Miller seeking recognition. Ms. Miller?
Karen. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Ms. Miller. Can you state your address, please?
657 Stuyvesant Avenue.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm speaking up about Resolution 20-651. If the councilman does not approve the appointment of Director Mark Lavenberg, that will put the city's greatest asset at risk for potential takeover. Director Mark has been the most experienced and has all the credentials with his licenses that's going on with Trenton Water. I just feel as though that Trenton should look into getting some more permanency and stop letting it be a revolving door down there, because in order for us to build up Trenton, we'll have Trenton Water be the best. It can't be a revolving door. And also, I also want to know, did you have anyone else in mind if you did not appoint Director Mark Lavenberg?
Just to let you know, Ms. Miller, Mr. Lavenberg was actually appointed this evening.
Awesome. Thank you.
Confirm that for
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I also have another question, if you don't mind. Along Stuyvesant Avenue, there's been dumping grounds back there. I've reported it to the city, and no one has yet come to remove the dumps behind certain houses on Stuyvesant Avenue. So who would I need to speak to about that illegal dumping?
If you contact my office tomorrow, I will forward it to the administration, and we'll get somebody to take a look at it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to be recognized by the City Council? Do I have a motion to close public portion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Harrison, a motion by Council President McBride. All in favor of closing public portion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. Public portion has been closed. Finally, before we go to civic comment, we have resolution 20-667. If you just let me get my notes here. Thank you. Resolution 20-665, we're authorizing the City Council of the City of Trenton to hold an executive session which excludes the public. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Trenton, this body will convene an executive session in the City Council Conference Room, City Hall, that it will be limited to consideration of an item or items with respect to which the public may be excluded pursuant to 7B of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. General nature of the subject or subjects to be discussed. Discussion, attorney-client privilege, personnel. Discussion regarding a workplace incident where it is alleged that a racial slur was used in reference to the Trenton City Council. Stated as precisely as possible, the following is the time and the circumstances under which the discussion conducted at said meeting can be disclosed to the public. November 12, 2021, or when the need for confidentiality no longer exists, whichever is later. Public is excluded from said meeting and further notice is dispensed with, all in accordance with Sections 8 and 4A of the Open Public Meetings Act. Floor is open for discussion if there is any, or an introduction if someone wishes to make it.
President McBride.
Yes, go right ahead, Councilman Blakely.
Thank you. So I am not going to be participating in this kangaroo court. I think that it's obvious that some people have an agenda on this council regarding the person in question of this executive session. I believe that this council does not have any moral authority to discipline anyone as it relates to racial slurs, particularly when we've had members on this body use anti-Semitic language and use homophobic language. And when presented with an opportunity to reject that type of language, refuse to censure the persons who were responsible for those kind of language, for that type of language. And so I think that, it's hypocritical for folks to conduct a witch hunt on the possibility or the rumor of someone using a racial slur when they did absolutely nothing when a member of this body or members of this body engaged in anti-Semitic rhetoric and homophobic and other divisive language. And so for those reasons, I'm not going to be a party to this, and I will not be participating, and I'll be voting against having this particular meeting. And so, I just think that this is a waste of time. I think that this is a just as many things at the city than this distraction. This is a rumor and innuendo, and if they find if some of my colleagues who have been guilty of using anti-Semitic and homophobic language, if they find the person in question guilty, then they should and decide to terminate that person. I believe that they should do the right thing and resign themselves. Thank you very much.
Council President?
Yes, go right ahead, Councilwoman Vaughn.
I am a Black person. I am a African American. I have endured a long history of discrimination in this country. And if somebody will not interrupt me and put on mute, please, Mr. Collins.
I'm trying to find them in.
Yes. And Councilman Blakely just said that this council does not have the moral authority. And he is correct. I don't have the moral authority, and nor does he. Nor does anybody on this planet. But one thing that this council does have, and by statute that has been granted to us by law as elected officials representing the city, is investigative powers. And we are supposed to invoke our investigative powers when certain situations are brought to our attention. That is our job. Whether or not we like it or not, this is our duty. This is our obligation, our fiduciary duty to represent our constituents. I will never absolve myself of that. A matter, this particular situation was brought to this council's attention and to the community, as a matter of fact. It was publicly, it was publicly outlined in the local newspapers that an appointed official referred to the elected council as using the N-word, saying that we had nigger mentality. Now, I have been called out and accused throughout the community and around the world. And some of my councilmen helped facilitate that to help facilitate that chastisement. And I was asked to resign my job as my elected position. I was asked to apologize, and I did. I owned up to my errors and my statements. I didn't hide behind anybody. I stood up for myself, and I stated my commentary, and where I was wrong and insensitive, I apologize. To my community, to the people that I've hurted and offended, I did that. So this is what we're talking about today. Nothing more and nothing less. There was an employee who deserves that respect. She's an employee of the city of Trenton. And she's also a taxpayer. She's also a resident. She's our constituent. She voted for us. So that individual brought to her employer, her union, her council, her community, her experience with her manager, her boss, an appointed official that this council gave advice and consent to. And we gave it to him unanimously. So it's never good when someone uses racial slurs or any type of racial or demeaning epithet. Rather it's me or anybody else. But to excuse yourself from it for the reasons that Councilman Blakely outlined is unacceptable. We can have a dialogue. We can go into council and in an executive session and discuss it. I am for fairness. I am for truth and justice. Always for truth and justice for everybody. Whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, whether you're male, female, no matter your sexual orientation. I'm for truth and justice. That's what I'm for. An equal application of the law to everybody. No one is above the law in the city or this country. This council must investigate all matters that are brought to our attention. Those are our statutory duties. And if anybody wants to question that and find out, go look it up. Chapter 40, 69, 8 through 36. We have the authority to conduct a legislative inquiry or any matter that has brought to our attention that we feel that puts the city at risk. And of course, and we just want to be fair, right? To all parties involved, even to the accused. The accused deserves to be heard. And we all know our city code outlines it. Our laws outline it. There are penalties if the accused is found to be guilty, or if you want to call it that. We're not a body of, we're not a court.
Councilwoman Vaughn.
I just want to finish. Please, let me finish. I'm almost done. Just give me 2 seconds. There are penalties for the accused, but there are also penalties for the accuser if their claims are found to be false. So if you go around making false claims, and I've been accused falsely as well of saying certain things that I did not say, and been chastised and lied upon. So I'm equally supportive of the accused and the accuser, and both have a right to be heard. And I'm interested in hearing all sides of the story, and that's what this inquiry is about. And then from there we can make a determination, but not to hear it. And Mr. Blakely is totally disingenuous because he was one of the individuals who went out and chastised me and told the whole world that Robin Vaughn should resign her seat for my behavior and my commentary. But yet,
please just don't mention council member by name.
But yet, when someone uses the word nigger, he doesn't feel should even have to be held accountable. Shameful. And that's all I have to say about that. I will move forward. And I will make sure that this issue is heard throughout this community, whether this council believes that it should be investigated or not. I will make sure that both the accused and the accusers will be heard, and justice it will be done in this particular issue. No one is above the law in the city of Trenton. Thank you, Council President.
Is there anyone else that would like to say anything? Mr. Conlon, we can move to the vote.
Do I have a motion to introduce Resolution 20-665? Council member? Motion to introduce 665? I have a motion by Councilmember Vaughn to introduce 665. Do I have a second?
So move. Second. Excuse me. I keep saying
second by Council President McBride. I'll now call the roll. Mr. Blakely?
No.
Blakely votes no. Council Vice President Caldwell-Wilson? Mr. Harrison?
No.
Mr. Michel?
No.
Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vaughn?
Yes.
Council President McBride?
Yes.
Unfortunately, the resolution fails 3-3. There will be no executive session. Now move on to civic comment. Unless, Council President, you wanted to open up the floor for anybody to comment on the executive session being not allowed or voted down by council. Did you wish to open up the floor for limited comment to that extent?
We can, and then we're going to move straight into the civic comment because I think last week we passed on the civic comment, and this week.
Yes, ma'am. So, any member of the public wishing to be recognized for the sole purposes of discussing Resolution 665, the executive session resolution which failed. Does anybody wish to be recognized for that purpose? Caitlin Fair is seeking recognition, Council President.
Yes, go right ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Caitlin Fair, 215 South Clinton Avenue. I just have to say I'm extremely disappointed in council. For those of you who did not vote to go into executive session, I think that it is, after everything that this council has undergone and all of the scrutiny, although well-deserved in many instances that has occurred, I think that it is outrageous that a claim coming from a city employee of this nature wouldn't even warrant a conversation. In a city where we have a majority-minority, claims like this cannot be taken lightly and should absolutely be investigated. And I would have to say that this is one of the occasions where I do agree with Councilwoman Vaughn that there is a duty of this body to investigate and discuss such allegations. I didn't realize that this was going to be before council this evening. I didn't get an opportunity to review the agenda prior to the meeting, but knowing that some of council have decided not to pursue even having a discussion about this in executive session is extremely disappointing. I will go on record to say that I did reach out to the mayor directly to express my sentiments about this and what I feel is an appropriate course of action in regards to such allegations. And I just think it's something to be really seriously considered that this isn't something that we're taking seriously. This is a city employee, and as Ms. Vaughn mentioned, a city resident who experienced this and brought up these allegations. And regardless about how we feel about Ben Delisle's performance on his job, whether or not he's qualified, whether or not he's done a good job,
Only order would please do not mention an employee's name with regard to the resolution. Just
sorry
purposes.
I apologize. I think that it's important that we do our due diligence and that the council does its due diligence to discuss and investigate these matters and, suggest an appropriate course of action in regards to them. I'm extremely disappointed in this body's decision not to pursue that. And I just wanted to go on record to say that.
Thank you. Next person, Mr. Conlon, who wants to speak to this particular resolution, the executive session resolution.
We have Lydia Thornton next, and then Mike Rinaldo. Ms. Thornton, do you want to recognize Ms. Thornton?
Yes, I do, Ms. Thornton.
Ms. Thornton, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Lydia Thornton, 1219 West State, Trenton. And I will echo Caitlin's complete disappointment in this vote. The fact that as a woman, as a young woman who is employed, that you as a group, as her employers, the representatives of her employers will not even go in session to hear. You're not making any kind of commitment to do anything. And I'm not coming for all of you right now, but that you won't even hear the situation is really appalling to me. And frankly, opens the city up for a really interesting lawsuit should anyone choose, because there wasn't even an opportunity given for anyone to present information, proof, case, anything. Y'all just said, no, not interested, sorry. For some of you. I'm not really isn't right. As surprised as I should be, because there is such a limited scope, apparently, to what is acceptable. Because now, I guess everything is. You can say anything in front of anybody in the city of Trenton, and nothing will happen. That's the message that was just sent. Okay, nobody on this call, or most on this call, is foolish enough to have not read the paper and know what we're talking about. I won't call names because that's disrespectful, but you just, as a body, you just opened the door for anyone to say anything, and yet defended that move by saying somebody else did it before. I mean, you didn't like that. So how is it okay now? Thanks for letting me speak. I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
Council President, next we have Mr. Mike Rinaldo. Mr. Rinaldo?
Yes.
Council President, Mr. Rinaldo, please state your name and address for the record.
There's a lot going on in your background, Mr. Rinaldo. No.
How about now? Am I clear?
Yes, you're.
It's actually coming from another source, Council President. I'll try to eliminate it. I'll try to find it.
Oh, thank you. I just want to echo Ms. Fair's sentiment that she said so well. I won't bother repeating it. And
Excuse
I'm
me.
also very yes.
Mr. Rinaldo has, Mr. Rinaldo has the floor. Who's speaking?
Julie Murray.
Yes, Ms. Murray.
Council President, the cat may already be out of the bag. I should have interrupted sooner. We can't have these discussions in public about personnel matters. So I think if people are going to talk about...
The cat is out of the bag, Miss Murray. Where were you at 20 minutes ago?
You hear what Mr. Rinaldo has to say, please, Mr. Council President?
Yes, thank you. Go right ahead, Mr. Rinaldo.
Well, the fact, I just want to go on record, please.
Mute her, please, Mr. Collin. Mute her.
That's up to the Council President, ma'am.
The public is speaking now.
She doesn't have the floor because she had an opportunity to weigh in. And this is the problem here with us not having an attorney to represent the council. They don't weigh in when they should. And now we have the public speaking. Let the public speak. Don't, they know now not to mention a name.
But they certainly can speak to the resolution.
Yes, they can, because it's
They cannot
here.
speak to the matter, which is what public comment was open for.
Madam President, the problem is that now the city is liable because the law department have already put us all on notice.
Kathy?
We are now liable.
Mr. Cruz.
You've been liable, Mr. Cruz. You've been liable.
You don't have the floor, and you guys cannot keep interrupting this meeting as you wish. Mr. Rinaldo have the floor, and please be respectful and let him speak.
You are refusing legal advice, and I just want to be able to give you legal advice.
Shut her down. Shut her down.
Robin, shut up.
No, you shut up.
Excuse me, who told a council member to shut up?
The mayor. That was the mayor. The mayor of the city of Trenton.
Well,
Shut up, Mayor.
To the law department. You are violating the whole purpose of rights notice.
Wait a minute.
You need a lawyer.
Mr. Collin, you need to mute these people. It's not their meeting.
This is the council's meeting, Mr. Collin.
You're breaking
Mr. Collin, this is
This is the council's meeting.
You voted down the race. You can't have the discussion now.
Shut
They
the
are
meeting.
not.
Shut it down.
Mayor, you need to know how to run your own meeting.
Why don't you get investigated?
Mr.
You already
Mayor,
faced a lawsuit. You already got us in court.
Mayor
You've
Garcia,
never investigated
Shut the mayor down. You already filed charges.
against
excuse me, Robin. Mr. Conlon, he has to shut down because he will not
against
interrupt
all this.
Shut up, Reed. Stop, Walter. Walter, get off the phone. Get off our meeting, Walter.
Robin.
Yes, tell Walter to hang up the phone. He's out of meeting.
Please.
Council President,
my name, I get to speak. I get to speak when
No, you
mention
don't.
my name.
No, you don't.
Yes, Robin.
No one comes to your meetings. Actually, it's the public. I'm asking. No one was speaking.
Mr. Conlon, I am asking you to disconnect Mayor Reed from this call.
Yeah, disconnect Walter.
Councilwoman Vaughn, please.
Sorry, Councilwoman Vaughn. Well, he came on the line telling me to shut up.
I need you to respect this meeting, Councilwoman.
I just want to hear the public comment. Thank you.
Well, be quiet so they can speak, please.
Hello.
Mr. Rinaldo, it is your floor, sir.
Thank you. To be extremely brief now, I just wanted to echo Ms. Farr's sentiments and her disappointment in not hearing this case. And my personal hope is that it hasn't poisoned the well for future complaints that come before City Council, because you chose not to hear this one, but you might choose to hear another one. And my hope is that that does not cause future legal problems for you guys. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much.
Council Vice President, we have Sonia McKay Richards wishing to be recognized.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I'd like to comment on the resolution also. I think this is, again, an overreach by City Council. This is an overreach because there's a process. And I agree with mostly everyone who was speaking that it deserves to be heard. The allegations deserve to be heard and substantiated or not. But there is a process, and council is not the process. There's a legal process, there's an investigation, and that's what a personnel, he's a personnel, or the person who we're speaking of is a personnel. And we have a personnel department to either form out the investigation or to do an investigation, not for City Council to do investigation. If you guys want to speak upon the final investigation that was done regarding this here allegation, then fine. But you guys continue to overreach, cost the city money from lawsuits and attorneys and lawyers that continue to have to be brought upon before foolishness. You guys need to learn what your role is. Learn your role. I'm done.
Thank you. Is there anyone else, Mr. Conlon?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Ugori wishes to be recognized.
Go right ahead, Mrs. Ugori. You're speaking just to that resolution right now.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Evangeline Ugori, you are recognized.
I can't hear her.
I can't hear her either. Ms. Ugori, did you want to speak on this matter? Okay, Council President, she's apparently no longer on the line. Ms. Julie Murray would like to be recognized.
I will not yield the floor to her, and we may continue with our civic comments, Mr. Conlon,
Yes,
if no other person from the public wanted to speak to that resolution.
I do not see a member of the public who wants to speak to the resolution.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to start with, I'm
sorry, I just had two hands go up, Council President. I don't know if you wanted to. Margaret Silver Flask and Evangeline Ugori, I didn't know if they both raised their hand again. I didn't know if you wanted to take the time to recognize them. My apologies.
Right. I'm gonna close that public session out and go straight make a motion to close that public comment out.
Motion by Council President McBride to close the second public comment. Do I have a second?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody else? Aye? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
Seeing none
so
opposed, civic comment is closed, public portion is closed. And civic comment is not open. Thank you.
okay, so I'm gonna start with Councilwoman Vaughn, and we're gonna keep you within your time period.
Well, again, I just want to reiterate, I think I was clear that, clearly folks don't understand, and I would recommend strongly that they obtain an understanding, get an education in civics, understand what the role of the executive and the role of the legislative body is. So shame on those individuals who don't know that the legislator has the statutory powers to investigate. And if you don't know the law, you need to learn it. And shameful that you work in the law department and you don't know that. And you represent the city and you don't know that the council has investigatory powers. Period. Not the mayor, not the law department, the council.
Then investigate, don't discuss it.
Don't interrupt me. You had your opportunity.
Mr. Conlon?
Yes, ma'am.
And like I said, get an education. Understand
Excuse me,
the elected council. Wait a minute, these are my civic comments.
I think she wants to remove the person who interrupted you, ma'am.
Exactly. You need to stop. You can.
Wait a minute.
If I could please remove that person, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I would appreciate it.
All right, so as I said, I'm for fairness. I try to proceed with fairness in everything that I do. Everybody should apply the same thing and stop being so biased and pushing your own personal agendas and come into battle for certain individuals who don't deserve to be fought for because they're on the wrong side of justice. They're on the wrong side of history. This city is trying to move forward. Our country is trying to move forward. We're in the midst of Black Lives Matter. We're in the midst of police department reform. We're in the midst of criminal justice reform. You heard one of our residents talk about lack of opportunity for certain citizens that have been marginalized for 400 years, enslaved, and here we are, can't even have a dialogue about racism. Well, we gotta have it. Because people are too busy trying to keep their jobs and protect their bosses who don't deserve to be protected because they're the ones who are in violation. They are the ones who are discriminating. Those are the ones who are using racial epithets. We have no place for this in this society. And here you are coming here, making it a personal thing. It's not about me, Robin Vaughn. It's not about Councilwoman Robin Vaughn. It's not about City Council. And look at you, just want to warn you again that
these matters are inappropriate.
Who is that, Council President?
Mr. Conlon has.
What is the problem? You can't shut these people down?
You don't have
on it, ma'am.
Anybody.
It's the attorneys, so.
And
I am muting them both, ma'am. If they speak again, would you like them removed?
I would definitely, because
they
cannot.
With intentions to disrupt this council.
That's because you're violating the law.
Okay, please remove them. Please remove that party.
Oh, and you're violating the law every day. Don't even enforce not one ordinance of the city. Every day.
Councilwoman Vaughn, stick to your comment and do not be.
Why is it that people feel they can interrupt me, Council President? And I have asked very politely for Mr. Collin to shut Walter down. Because Walter has no respect for nobody, not even his own constituents. So all I'm saying, I done said enough for this evening. Everybody knows what my position is on this particular subject. It was my resolution, and I will continue to move forward in the spirit of justice. We have no room for racism in this city. And if the mayor does not stand up and address his director,
you have no respect.
who called this council,
Mayor,
use that type of terminology, allegedly, if somebody would stop interrupting me, Council President, I can say my comments.
You're not going to get away with that.
Oh my God, is out of control or what? And this is the person, the law department want to come to this call and complain about folks spending taxpayer money on legal fees. This council has not taken anybody to court. It has nothing, it's all the mayor. He has spent the taxpayers' money. Put the blame where it belongs correctly. He can't stay out of court. He's too busy deflecting off his failures. It's sad. Oh my God, he's just incompetent. I can't wait to see that weak budget of his.
Point of order, if you will stop.
So anyway, Council President, my comments are, I think that we should just definitely have this dialogue about using racial epithets and calling in a city that's predominantly Black and Latino, using those type of comments are just unacceptable. And it's just disheartening that my council colleagues did not find it tonight, and maybe we can move forward and find another opportunity to have the same discussion, because all is not lost. We live in a democratic city, a country, and I know that we can have the discussion. Maybe not tonight, but another day and time. Thank you very much.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Yes, Mr. Conlon, is Ms. Yvette Cooper online?
He's talking. Can't hear him.
Yes, she is. Yes, Councilman Rodriguez, she is on the line. Council President did give leave for you to for her to make a presentation about COVID tonight during this.
I will hear my time to her.
Yes, sir.
So you got 10 minutes, so she has 10 minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Take lessons.
Is Mrs. Cooper on the line?
Yes, she is. She was a second ago, actually.
Lay some information on COVID to everyone, and I will be glad to do so. So thank you for the floor. It won't take 10 minutes. Right now, the information that I will be provided, we have a team member that is working with us from the Trenton Health team that is putting together our graphs and charts so that we can see where we are as a city for Trenton, and so that we could just have a better view. So right now, the city is going, if you look at the graphs that we have over the last week, on Tuesday we had 52 cases, we had 62 on Monday, and on Wednesday, still counting, it was 108. These are confirmed positive cases within the city. And when we look at where we were in the beginning of the pandemic on May 2nd, the graph is showing that by November 23rd, we would be right where we started on May 2nd when the pandemic first start getting the numbers for Trenton. That is not pushing us in the right direction. We are actually on the brink right now of going into a dramatic surge in the numbers, just because there's more testing. So currently the infection rate are putting like a significant strain on the local healthcare delivery system. Hello?
Please, yeah, I'm sorry. Please, whoever is in the background speaking, please mute yourself so Ms. Graffy Cooper can speak. Please continue, ma'am.
So we're in the midst of an active outbreak of COVID-19, and we will see that surge around Thanksgiving without significant action. Maybe by the next time you guys meet, we will be in a full-blown outbreak for COVID within the city. On October 20th, for every 100,000 individual within the city, we were at 5.6. On November 10th, we are at 41.6 per every 100,000 individuals within the city. And we are seeing that there's a relative, that rate has been doubling every week over the past 3 weeks. So right now, what council can help us with is with their constituents in their areas, if they can just help us to spread the message about mask wearing, social distancing. We had an issue with some of the Halloween gatherings. I did put information out regarding, the Halloween parties and trying not to gather, even if it's family members. Thanksgiving is coming, and we know that there's a lot of folks that will be coming to visit family. The suggestion would be to greet them virtually, because some of the states that they're coming from are states that have high COVID levels. And if you have family coming in, they should be quarantined for 14 days. It's not mandatory, but we're asking just for your neighbor's sake, for, your loved ones, that if you have them to quarantine, or your family will need to quarantine once they leave before you return to work or before you start visiting others. And that's something that we are really asking everyone to help us with, spreading that message of, Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming, to avoid the crowds and gathering, especially indoors. It's getting cold out now, so a lot of folks are going inside. So we want to reduce the crowds in for the indoor gathering. And even if you have family members that you're visiting, you should be wearing a mask if you do not live in the same household. We want to stress the frequent hand washing, and I would like if council could help me with their constituents to have the community to answer the call when we are doing contact tracing. That is also another issue that we're having, that individuals are not answering the calls, or they're not answering the questions. If they do not answer the questions, we cannot do the proper contact tracing to reduce the spread of the virus. So everyone can help to play a part in helping us to get a curve on what is happening with the virus, and could possibly put a stop to it. This virus is one that is fueled by individual behaviors, and as much as we have a lot of plans in place, at some point the community as a whole also have a responsibility to help us to safeguard themselves, and also to just take some responsibilities for their action, to just protect themselves and the individuals around them. And that is all that we have. I just want everyone to just know that, I know that we've been doing this for months and people may be tired, but we still have to keep fighting, because, again, we did not even close the first wave of the virus before we were hit with a second wave. And the only way that we're going to get through this is if we do it together, and everyone just keeps spreading that message, and have everyone to just follow the directives. Wear your mask, wash your hands 6 feet apart, no indoor gathering, avoid crowds, and stay home if you're sick. We don't want you going to work. We don't want you visiting. Stay home if you're sick. And also for those that are put on isolation and quarantine, I ask that you please stay home. Some of the things we're finding is my department will call and put someone on isolation. The isolation are for the individuals that are positive. We will call to check in on them, and they're at the supermarket, they're at a family member, they're at the amusement park. This is a message that we have to really spread, that isolation and quarantine means you have to stay inside, don't leave the home, don't do any gathering, no visitors, and just follow those guidelines so that we can get a handle on what is happening. Because, again, come next week, come Thanksgiving, we're going to be seeing real big surge of this virus, and we want to get a handle on that. Everyone's help is greatly appreciated. And if anyone have any question, I will be glad to answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Cooper, I just would like to, talk to you today, and you agreed to send us either emails or messages daily to update City Council on these issues, because this is very serious. We have been taking it very lightly, but this is very serious, and I appreciate you coming into calling and waiting all this time. I have to apologize. At the beginning, I forgot to mention your name, so you could have talked at the beginning, but I am glad that you stayed through the meeting because this is very important for our community. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Cooper.
Not a problem. I just need for council to let me know how would they like the daily message to be sent. Would you like it via text message or would you like an email?
You can
so
send
you guys can
to,
decide and someone...
You can send it straight to the clerk, Mrs. Cooper. Send it to the clerk.
To the clerk, okay.
Yes, definitely.
That is not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. You're welcome.
Mr. Harrison, Councilman Harrison.
First, I would like to say to Ms. Cooper, thank you and your staff for all your hard work. And if there's any way that I can help, I'm available to help in any way. Secondly, I would like to say to Pi, John Harmon, the mayor, and anybody else who wants to help. There's a lot of people in the community who are looking for jobs. They want to, help be a part of the future of the city. So if any way we could all work together to help give jobs to people who were, have came out of jail, back in society. They have families, they have kids. We want a brighter future for them, and they're a part of this great city. So they said we all work together and we could address, they said, jobs. And like I said, Ms. Cooper, I appreciate all your hard work that you're doing out there in the high rises, and anything I could do, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. And Councilman Blakely, is he still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to speak?
I do. Thank you so much, Council President. Do we have a representative from the Law Department on the line?
No, if you want to make a statement, I'm not going to yield the floor to anybody but you. This is civic time.
President Bryant, you just allowed Mr. Rodriguez to ask a question to Yvette Cooper. I'm asking for the same respect.
This is your civic comment.
No, we have historically allowed folks that I have a question that I need answered, and we have allowed during this time to have people, to have council members ask questions. We just had Mr. Rodriguez ask a question.
All right, go right ahead.
Do we have a representative from the Law Department?
Yes, Mr. Williams and I are Julie Murray are here.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask a few questions about the investigatory power of the City Council and the personnel. I have a right to ask the question.
Before they answer, I'm going to tell them to put their response in writing.
No, I don't want to respond to writing.
I will not give the floor to them.
President McBride, I literally have the floor. Why can't I? President McBride, I am an elected official.
In writing, put their response in writing to you.
I'm not asking for it in writing. I'm asking for it.
You will get it because I will not yield the floor.
President McBride, I have a right to speak. I am an elected official.
And I'm granting you that right.
And I'm
having
a question.
I'm asking. But I'm saying for their response to put it in writing.
I don't want to respond. I'm asking for a...
Okay, go ahead and ask your question, and they heard my response.
I'm asking for... President McBride, I have the floor. This is ridiculous. I have a right to ask a question. You may not like what I have to say, but I'm allowing you, and you have the free range to ask whatever you want to ask for 10 minutes. And I'm telling them that they will have to put it in writing. I'm asking you, please respond to me. I'm asking for you to respond to the... I'm telling them how they're going to respond in writing. Kathy, you're not the queen. You're not not the queen. And neither do I want to be the queen.
Please, point of order, please do not refer to the council president as the queen. Thank you.
I said she thinks she's the queen, and she's not.
But she is the council president, though. But she is the council president.
Listen. I am talking.
Do not interrupt.
I have the floor. I should have the ability to ask a question and get a response. Just like you did not ask Mr. Rodriguez to get the floor. I am asking a question. I'm asking a question. And I'd like an answer.
I've already commented. I've already said you have the floor for 10 minutes, and then any response from the law department must be given in writing.
No. It doesn't work like that. I was a response.
Okay. You don't want to make a comment?
No, I'm asking my comment right now. I'm making my comment. You're interrupting me.
Go right ahead. But they're not going to have the floor.
So I'd like you to answer the question. What is the power of city council as it relates to investigations? I am looking at City President McBride. Could you please be quiet? I am literally talking. I am here looking at the city code, and it states here that pursuant to the charter, the council, in its discretion, may require any municipal officer to prepare and submit sworn statements regarding his or her official duties and the performance thereof. And the council may otherwise investigate the conduct of any department, office, or agency of the municipal government. Can you clarify what it means by his or her official duties? Is someone from the law department going to answer me?
I do believe they're instructed by the floor not to answer.
In writing.
I could answer if you would like, President McBride, and then I could reduce my answer to writing if that would serve. That would please.
So I don't want to listen. I'm asking a question.
And I'm not. Did you understand what I said?
Councilmember McBride has nothing to do with my line of inquiry. So this has nothing to do with her, and she should mind her business because I'm asking a question.
And then, but they will respond to you in writing.
I don't want them to respond in writing. What kind of crap is that?
That's your problem.
Point of order. Technically, Mr. Blakely is appealing a ruling of the chair. The chair has ruled that the response will be from the law department will be in writing. Mr. Blakely is making a motion, I'm assuming, to appeal that.
Listen, we already know that it's not going to pass because...
Well, sir, that is the vehicle for you to appeal the rules.
And I'm not appealing. Let me go to my point. The fact of the matter is this, and I will publish the response of the law department when I get it. I think that's completely outrageous and another usurpation of my rights and privilege as a council person. So shame on Council President McBride for stopping a dialogue when a member of this body has a question. But to the point, the fact of the matter is I am not opposed to an investigation of any alleged comments by anybody. However, the proper format is the Department of Personnel. We have a personnel department. The fact of the matter is, it is not the duty of council to investigate personnel matters. This is quite simply a witch hunt that is being conducted by my colleagues in an attempt to snuff out all of the mayoral directors and to weaken the mayor. I am resolutely opposed to racist and divisive language that is used. However, I don't think it's proper to have council as the body to adjudicate rumor and innuendo that may occur in City Hall. Our investigatory power is solely based on the execution of the director's official duties and their official performance, not to investigate hearsay. Where does it stop if we allow this to be conducted by this council? You will have political witch hunts where this body will go after people for dubious claims, for rhetoric, for innuendo and rumor. And so the fact of the matter is, the reason why I oppose this investigation by council, because it's not in our powers to investigate a rumor in City Hall. That is purely for the personnel department. The personnel department has the powers and they have the resources to properly investigate this issue. When it comes before this council, it becomes a political hot potato. It becomes a inquisition that is not meant to get to the truth, but it's an attempt to score political points. And so that is why I am opposed to this council, because it's a slippery slope. Are we going to investigate every single allegation of personnel abuse in this council, in this city? Absolutely not. That's not our role. Our role is to investigate official duties. And I'll read it again, for folks to know. Prepare and submit sworn statements regarding his or her official duties. We are not a human resources body. We are not the Department of Personnel. The Department of Personnel has clearly articulated guidelines or services, and I'm going to read them. These are the services provided by the Department of Personnel according to the website: benefit administration, compensation and classification, EEO, employee relations. That is where I believe this issue would fall upon, employee relations. It is supposed to facilitate hiring, labor relations, legal compliance, new hire orientations, policies, and procedures. And so that is what the Department of Personnel is supposed to do. That is not what City Council is supposed to do. And I think, as I mentioned previously, this body does not have the moral authority to judge anybody, because folks on this body have used in public and in front of clear witnesses and have admitted to using racist and homophobic language, and they've gotten away with it. So to have them serve as some some panel, as some kind of inquisition panel, is just a slippery slope. It will weaponize the sort of rumor and innuendo, and will destroy and will serve. I mean, because here's the thing. Why have a Department of Personnel if the Department of Personnel is not able to investigate these sort of issues? And so that's my point. So for members of the public who believe that it was wrong for us not to go into executive session, the reason why I didn't go into executive session, because I don't believe that council should be a jury trying to judge if a slur was used or not. Because at the end of the day, it simply, because of us, becomes he said, she said. And so many careers should not be destroyed. And we would be setting a very, very damaging precedent to allow members of this body to judge folks on mere rumor. It would be open season on all directors if we were to investigate every claim of bad language. Because I think at the end of the day, people make stuff up all of the time. They make stuff up. And so that's why you have a Department of Personnel.
1 minute, sir.
I just wanted to ask, I was about 3 or 4 minutes of my time was used by Council President McBride.
I actually added 2 minutes to your time, sir. I had already added 2 minutes.
I think it was more like 4 minutes, but I'll keep going. But the fact of the matter is, shame on this council for trying to be a kangaroo court. I think it sets a very bad precedent, and members of this body have shown that they have no problem with going after people with baseless allegations, and this would weaponize the personnel process. And listen, if folks want to be the mayor, and it's kind of sad, and I'll just say this, it looks like we're not going to get anything done over the next 2 years because people are positioning themselves to run for mayor. Listen, if you want to be in control of the personnel function of city government, you should run for mayor. Then you would have all the influence you want around personnel. But quite frankly, this council does not have that power. It's clear. I tried to get a question asked the law department. I was stopped by the council president because, like usual, she does not like to hear advice that she doesn't agree with. She just simply doesn't want to hear it. And so she is stopping a duly elected member of this body from asking a question and getting an answer. That's shameful. Like I said, you may not like the answer, but I'm an elected official just like you. And so for you to stop me from having the ability to ask a question is despicable and shameful. And I'll say this. We are judging the person in question based on rumor and innuendo. We all know what you guys said on the record. People in this body have said things publicly and have gotten away with it. Didn't even want to discuss it. When I brought up censure motions for the anti-Semitic language used by President McBride, when I brought up a censure motion for Councilwoman Vaughn around her use of homophobic language, you guys didn't even want to discuss it. So shame on you guys, and shame on you for trying to destroy someone. At the end of the day, I don't believe the person in question said it. This is someone who has African-American children, who has to read about their father being slandered in the press based on you guys' political games.
Time, sir. It's actually 4 minutes over now.
Thank you. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
So I just want to, first of all, I'm going to thank everyone that came on tonight to the meeting. I appreciate your involvement and I appreciate your opinion. Your opinion matters. And I'm going to take my time to talk about the resolution and some things pertaining to the resolution. What I see happening here in the council's meeting is that the mayor can come to a council's meeting and disrespect the women in this meeting. I don't think that if I was a male as the president of this body, that he would have ran up in a meeting and been disrespectful to a male. I just don't believe it. And this is what we're faced with here in the city, because we can't run down the city hall into his meetings that he had, his cabinet meetings on Tuesday. We wouldn't dare do that because it would be disrespectful. But when it comes to a council meeting that he has no authority to even be at unless the council invites him in or he asks to come in for advice and consent, and we allow that. But because we're women, this is how they treat us. This is how the men treat women. And this is how I feel sitting here as the president of this council, that I have to argue with the mayor about a council meeting that he has no right to be in. And we want to talk about going into executive session to discuss a report that was made, not hearsay, but a actual report that was filed. It was on the front page of the newspapers. It was everywhere. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a big girl, and I could stand up when I'm wrong or I've said something insensitive. And I made a statement at that November's meeting based on a young lady that had gotten no money for getting screws in her ankle. Councilman Blakely ran me to CNN News all across the world, calling me anti-Semitic. And now, here it is, we have a complaint from a woman, a young woman at that. And you don't even want to understand and hear both sides to find out what occurred. What type of example are we setting for all of the young women or a young man to run into hiding rather than to come out and make the complaint? What type of trend are we setting here when we don't allow a young woman's complaint to be investigated? And it could be a young man's complaint. It should be investigated. What type of narrative are you setting here? And so you have all of the workers in the city watching us this evening, and now they're like, that's why I didn't come forward, because I knew they weren't going to do anything. I knew that they weren't going to address my issue. It's a problem. It's a twofold problem. I don't care about what Mr. Blakely says, because he ran me all the way to CNN News, and I stepped up like the person that I am and said if I said something that was insensitive to a group, because it was a statement that was leaked out of the executive session that has been continuously being leaked. And then you have people that want to discuss the issue, but you can't discuss the issue because the issue gets muddied up when a mayor runs up into a city council's meeting and act as if he has the right to be there and just start saying whatever he wants to say. But if this had been any other body and a female wasn't the president of that body, we'd have an attorney that we could go to that we felt confidence in to get answers. When we had Mr. Kaloji, things were running smooth because they were working together. And so I'm feeling some type of way this evening because as I sit back and have to keep screaming to gain control of the council's meeting as the president of the body, I ask myself, if this had been my brother or if this had been my uncle, would they run up in the meeting like that? And that's the question that I'm asking myself. And so I'm saying to all of you out there, when a young person comes forward and they put things in writing, they should have the confidence that someone is going to listen to them, that someone is going to take the next step without trying to sweep it under the rug. And so I say to all of you out there, last week, Mr. Conlon's whole birth date was put in the newspaper. He was called a fraud. And his birth date and his private phone number was put in the newspapers. And when I called and sent a letter, they said it was all in accordance with the public because it was mentioned in the public, and so it could occur. So when you come back to me saying, hey, you want to have a kangaroo court here, you can't have it both ways. You can't take what I say out of context and then run with it. And then there's another complaint and you don't even want to address it. I just think that's very, very hypocritical. And I also want to say to the public, yes, I am a female and I am the council's president. And you don't have to like Kathy McBride, but you are going to respect her. You are going to respect me. So please don't run up into this meeting again like you, every time the council does something, you running us into court, hundreds of thousands of dollars because you feel as though the council president and the council beside the two that is always running down to your office is wrong. And you running us into court in the tunes of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now before my 10 minutes is up, I want to address one more issue. There was a young man that came on this evening and he said, I want you to know what we're out here in Wilbur section doing for the last 2 weeks. And these people need jobs. There's no jobs. Well, let me tell you, I think your last name was Gore. I'm not sure. I might have the name mixed up. Let me tell you how much money we've allocated. You have the CDBG grant funding. Millions of dollars have been advocated. Millions that's going to nonprofits that should be offering training on a continuous basis. So when you say the mayor came, did he come and tell you that we just allocated millions of CDBG grant funding to nonprofit organizations that should be training those young men that are involved with you? Did they tell you that under the CDBG grant funding that the people in Trenton has a right to be employed under some of those contracts? Did they tell you that we just gave them $50 million in bonding over at the water department to put up water meters and fire hydrants? People in the city of Trenton should be on those projects. So when you come and you say to us, come see what we're doing, no, you need to come to the council meetings and get online to see what this body is doing. Because we have given so much money out to these private organizations, these nonprofits. We have given out millions of dollars to construction companies that you are entitled to work on under the federal government guidelines. So there is money. Because we are a distressed city, we get more money than other cities do. And so we're not hurting for money. It's the way that the money is being allocated, and it's the fact that the residents in the city that voted don't know what is out there. So I'm telling you, the way you want me to come out in the Wilbur section and see what you've done in the last 2 weeks, come to the city council meetings to understand where your money is going. And with that being said, because tonight has really been like a little ticking bomb here, the racial slurs have to be dealt with. There should be no director in the place in the city hall that would use it. I don't care what color his wife is. They shouldn't use the language. They shouldn't use the language. And as far as the law department is concerned, don't come attacking this council because we followed the rules and the regulations that was put before us, and as a 5-2 vote made a decision. We need an attorney in that law department that can assist this body, because we're not being serviced here as a council. We don't even have an attorney that we can go to and ask a legitimate question and get a legitimate answer, because they find a loophole that suits them and they use that loophole. And I'm tired of it. And we need an attorney to represent us. And with that being said, I think I've said enough. You understand where I'm coming from. But just because I'm a female, you will not run over me, Kathy McBride. Put your brakes on and back up and understand. I might be a female and I might be in this position, but I am still a human being, and I have respect for myself. I have integrity, and I have a moral compass, and you're going to follow that respect part of it. Thank you. I appreciate you all for coming. I appreciate you staying on to listen to all of us vent tonight. and hopefully we'll be able to do something in this city to move this city forward before our 2 years are up. I think we've done things, a lot of things that are being muddied because of the politics of it. Thank you, Mr. Conlon. I'm going to ask if this meeting could be adjourned.
I have a motion by Council President McBride to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Vaughn. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye. Dumbass mayor.
Please.
Mr. Collin, I don't need to hear that nonsense. Cut this line.
I need a couple more people to say aye, though.
Aye.
One more. I got it. Any opposed? So ordered. We're adjourned at 7:55 p.m. Have a good night, everybody. Please be safe.
Oh, I did.
Trenton City Hall.
Matthew,
Yes, ma'am.
it's Elizabeth.
Hello.
I'm very proud of you.
For what?
I'm just very proud of you. You stood your ground.
I'm told you all before. I'm Switzerland. I mean,
I'm very proud of you.
There's a process the way things work. I don't know what was said or what was done. You know, personally between you and I, we sort of have a relationship. They have the right to have the conversation. I don't know. You know, I think Mr. Delisle seems like a nice guy. I don't know what was said. I have no dog in that fight. I have no opinion on that matter. You know what I mean?
Mr. Conlon, you're not unmuted.
Thank you.
Because when Robin was talking about and members of the department, you need to educate yourself because we do have the powers. I said, no, you don't. You don't have the power of investigation. That's why personnel is for